Hi there, I'm Jared Levin. I'm with Woods Healthcare. I'm here with Ryan Garrison, who's a licensed professional counselor at the Center for Behavioral Health at Woods. And we're here to talk about seasonal affective disorder. So it's nice to have you here, Ryan.
Oh, thanks for having me on today, Jared. Appreciate it.
So just to get started, what is seasonal affective disorder?
So, seasonal affective disorder, or otherwise known as SAD, is a type of depression that's associated with various seasons of the year. It's most prevalent in the winter or fall, but it can impact individuals in any season throughout the year. On average, about 3 million individuals are diagnosed with SAD each year in the United States.
Wow. And what are the causes of SAD?
So there are no real defined causes. There's a lot of theories that are believed to be out there. The leading one is that it's believed to be a chemical change in the brain that leads to symptoms of depression during certain seasons of the year. For the winter months, it's thought that the fact that there's shorter days and less sunlight can contribute to this disorder and create that chemical imbalance that goes on. But that doesn't really explain then why somebody in the spring or the summertime would have seasonal affective disorder. Another theory is melatonin, which is a sleep related hormone that's been linked to SAD for the fall and winter. And the theory is there that the body naturally makes more melatonin when it's dark, and that can trigger that chemical imbalance. But there could be many other triggers associated with it. If you have aversion to certain types of weather throughout the year, if you live in a cold city and it's snowy all the time, you can't get out of the house and it's isolative, that could trigger it. If it's the summertime and you'd hate heat, or you have allergies or some other aversion to that time of the year, that could trigger it. So there's no real great solid answer on what causes it. What is consistent though is that those symptoms of depression appear during the same seasons year after year.
That's fascinating. So, what what are the symptoms that I might see if I were to have seasonal affective disorder?
So the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder mirror those of depression. So it's less about the like the symptomology and more so the cause as to why it would be called seasonal affective disorder versus just depressive disorder. But some of the leading symptoms, again, all tied to depression, would be increased sleep and daytime drowsiness, loss of interest and pleasure in activities that you were formerly engaged in and loved, social withdrawal and increased sensitivity to rejection, irritability, anxiety, stress, feelings of guilt and hopelessness, fatigue, low energy, decreased sex drive, inability to focus, concentrate, trouble thinking clearly, decrease or increase in weight. Um, and then it can manifest itself into physical complexities. There is a mind body connection with all these things. So if you have a significant social emotional issue, that can manifest itself into headaches or some other form of physical pain. So it's really important to go and have these symptoms looked at by healthcare providers so that you can kind of understand which one's coming first, because in some cases the physical malady that you may have that might be medically based could lead to the depressive symptomology.
That's great. So, as a counselor, how when someone comes in thinks they have it, how would you diagnose?
So, yeah, again, yes, you're right. A diagnosis should be done by a mental health professional or physical physician of some sort who has some expertise in this. The biggest thing you want to look for when you're diagnosing seasonal affective disorder or depression in general is really the length of time and the intensity of it. For example, if somebody becomes sad over the holiday season, you're melancholy and you experience some of those symptoms that we just talked about for that week or two over the holidays, that's sadness. However, if it were to persist 4 weeks, 6 months, or 6 weeks, a month and a half, 2 months, whatever, then you're looking at the potential of it being full blown depressive symptoms. And that's when you want to go and get yourself seen by a professional because early diagnosis leads to faster treatment, which hopefully can alleviate the symptoms sooner than later.
That's great. That's so going on the other side. How do you treat it?
So there's no one all great magic cure, unfortunately. Um, what we would usually suggest, again, is that you go seek a professional to understand what might be the root cause of what's happening. And then from there, you can look at a bunch of different interventions. It could be counseling and the development of positive coping skills. Perhaps for some people, medication management might be a possibility, such as the use of antidepressants. There's been a lot of research and some positive response to for the winter months for exposure to sunlight, so light therapy. In fact, one of my first jobs, the our psychiatrist had this lamp on his desk. It was this huge lamp. It looked like the sun, and that's exactly what it was. You were supposed to sit in front of this thing for 15 minutes a day, every day, and that was hope to relieve some of the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. And then another treatment methodology could simply be environmental change. You work with some people that, again, maybe live up in the Northeast corridor and can't stand winter, so they would get depressed when that season comes. Well, move to a warm climate where you have plenty of sunshine throughout the entire year. And just that simple environmental change might trigger a reduction in the depressive symptoms.
Wow, that's some drastic but necessary. It sounds like so. Um, those are my major questions that I had, but just to kind of bring it back around, if you could just review just kind of the key points of seasonal uh, affective disorder, I think it would be helpful to people.
Sure. So seasonal affective, again, is a type of depression that happens during a particular season of the year, most often fall and winter, but can be any season. Um, Again, no real understanding of exactly what causes it. For winter months, less sunlight, shorter days, perhaps an increase in melatonin in the system could lead to seasonal affective disorder. But it could be weather related. It could be there's some sort of trauma that occurred during a particular time of year that you recall every year. So it's important to really find a counselor and or medical professional to explore what the reasons behind that might be. And if it is a chemical change, then again, counseling would be the number one. Really, everybody with depression has ongoing feelings of sadness, helplessness, irritability. So it's important to again differentiate between whether or not this is an ongoing depressive symptom or just sadness. Um, and like I said, really important just to find a medical professional to run your symptoms by to see if in fact you have seasonal affective disorder.
Ryan, thank you so much for this great information about seasonal affective disorder. It's been extremely
Sure.
helpful, I'm sure, to people. So, lastly, I just want to ask if someone thinks they are affected by this, what would their next step be?
Well, it's very important to get a comprehensive overview of what's happening. So my suggestion would be to contact Woods Healthcare and set up an appointment with the Center for Behavioral Health, as well as the Woods Medical Center, in order to look at all aspects of what's happening. We want to make sure that if this is purely just a mental health issue, that we are getting that diagnosis, but we also want to rule out if there's any physical things going on that may be triggering the seasonal affective disorder as well. So you can contact the main number that will be up soon and ask to have a comprehensive evaluation performed, and we'll take it from there.
It's great. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.